So, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I've been meaning to talk about this game for a while now. Released in 2003, Aria is the last of the Castlevania games to have been released on the Game Boy Advance and is still regarded today as the best Castlevania of the console, if not the whole post-Symphony of the Night catalog. And for good reasons. While it's not my personal favorite, Aria is the messiah that brought one of my favorite game mechanics of all time into the franchise. Out of every Castlevania games, it has one of the best castles. And in my case, as a kid, it's the first game that made me realize I had a weird fetish for white-haired characters. Yeah, LadyOfTheDark was a visionary. The story this time takes place in Japan in the now not-so-distant year 2035. We follow a teenager named Soma Cruz, who's basically your regular high school exchange student who came to study abroad in Japan and who is also an undercover Spanish Inquisitor. Is that true? Might be, after all.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
One day, during a solar eclipse, Soma and his friend Mina Hakuba decide to go to her family's shrine. However, as they reach the shrine, they somehow find themselves being drawn into the eclipse. And as if getting sucked into a solar eclipse wasn't bad enough, inside they meet the 50% off version of Alucard, who tells them they were actually brought into Dracula's castle, which is now apparently located at the heart of the eclipse for some obscure plot-related reason that I did not bother to check. But no time to waste. Just as Soma was about to call out Arikado, that's his name, for dressing like it was still the 1940s, a group of monsters appear and knocks Mina unconscious. Arikado wipes them out, but he misses one, which forces Soma to step up. And as he managed to take down the last monster, we discover that for reasons unknown, he has the ability to absorb demons' soul upon killing them, to use their powers as his own. And I just now realized that this sounds an awful lot like Kirby's thing, but putting that aside, Oh hey, talking about the devil, oh my god! After Arikado tells us to fuck off to the Master's Chamber to find the answers to all the weird shit happening, we can finally start sucking souls up to try out our new powers. The way it works is pretty simple. After acquiring the soul of an enemy, Soma will be able to equip it, and each soul falls in one of three categories: Bullet Souls, Guardian Souls, and Enchanted Souls, which I will simply call Red, Blue, and Yellow Souls cause that's what they are. Starting with the Red Souls, these are activated with the up plus B button combination and works pretty much like the sub-weapons in other Castlevania games, by offering you different ways to apprehend a fight. Except here we have a lot more options. Like we have souls to throw spears, lightning, pussycats, fireballs, lasers, one to do a Falcon Punch! And one to summon the spirit of a Valkyrie. Wait. Okay, so the devs actually took the time to make jiggle physics. This game released on the hardware with limited resources, and they spent some of said resources on boobs. Right, I'll just press the dedication and be on my way. Yeah! Next up are the Blue Souls. They are activated or toggled with the R button and mainly provide support or defensive abilities, such as summoning literal fucking JoJo stance, enabling movement options, shapeshifting, vacuuming enemies. But there's also a few souls for offense, like the Creaking Skull Soul, which grows a big, thick bone on Soma to smash enemies or to convince merchants to lower their prices.
Do you like what you see?
What the fuck is this?
Up last are the Yellow Souls. There's not much to say about them, they simply grant passive or latent abilities to Soma, like increasing statistics or walking on water. But I will say that Aria of Sorrow somehow managed to screw up something Harmony of Dissonance had already fixed. Soma can only equip one soul of each category, so you need to go through the menu on a regular basis to try different things. Which is not that bad, but when you remember that Harmony had a way to quickly change between spellbooks and then find yourself in Aria of Sorrow switching 6 times in a row between the yellow soul that allows you to walk on water and the yellow soul that allows you to walk underwater, you find yourself thinking, how the fuck did they forget about one of the only things they did right in Harmony? But beside that, this system feels great to use. It gives much room for customization, and I don't see other problems with it. Yet. So after we cheese our way through the first boss, thanks to watching too many speedruns of this game, we meet a man named Graham Jones, who, at first, seems pretty chill.
Hello there.
But we later learn that he's actually here to claim the castle for himself, and as soon as Soma brings up his vacuuming abilities, "Don't forget under the rug, you bitch!" Graham's demeanor shifts to anger, as he declares himself the sole rightful heir to Dracula's powers. We already had the premise with Harmony of Dissonance, but this is pretty much the first Castlevania on portable console where the story is more than just a pretty wrap-up. The intrigue is actually nice, it's much more present, and searching for the answers regarding what the hell is going on is more than enough to keep you hooked. Why is my boy being summoned out of nowhere? Why does he have powers? Who is this lady, and why the fuck do all of our interactions go like this?
So, Graham is evil and you're gonna stop him or else you're my enemy.
Wait, I don't...
Also, you have a curse power that might turn you crazy, but don't worry, we'll kill you when that happens. And you have to kill that because our other agent's already busy with the God of Darkness, so don't forget the groceries. Okay, bye!
Yeah, the NPCs can be weird, but we finally have material to enrich the plot, and they are likable. Especially Mina, since from time to time you can pay her a visit to the castle's entrance, and depending on your progress, she'll have a few new dialogues that actually show us the relationship the opening told us about. Also, I gotta say her, Soma, and, well, everyone are pretty nice on the eyes too, because thankfully the one behind their appearance is Ayami Kojima, who had worked on previous Castlevania games. I think it's an objective statement when I say that with her work being of this quality, it's impossible to imagine Ayami not working on the sequel, right? Fucking...
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Just like previous GBA entries, Aria of Sorrow follows the model established by Symphony of the Night. You wander through an enormous castle, itself separated into multiple areas which are not all accessible until you put your hands on the right ability to unlock a new path. And I'm gonna start strong by saying that this castle feels amazing to explore. Because you can... Not because you can move like Michael Jackson again. When you navigate through the castle to go to the next bosses or area to progress, it just seems to naturally fall into place, making it a very smooth experience. Which might seem normal, but remember that when it released more than 20 years ago, the Metroidvania genre was not as polished as it is today, so it is pretty damn neat. Though regarding the exploration itself, I will say that I kinda miss the fun gimmicks some Rude had in Harmony of Dissonance or Symphony of the Night with the confession boots, for example. There is really only one room with some kind of interaction, and even then it's just a big demon that lets you enter its mouth if you turn your back on him, which leads me to believe he's either really self-conscious about his appearance or he just really wants to eat some ass. On the other hand, exploring is as rewarding as ever, because even though you can go to Hammer to buy weapons, armors, or items, you glorious bastard, most of your equipment will be found by scavenging the hallways of the castle. The armors are... armors, but there's a nice selection of different weapon types at your disposal. We've got daggers, short swords, long swords, spears, fists, rapiers, and... a motherfucking handgun? Fuck yeah, it must be awesome! Soma's control and fighting style is reminiscent of Alucard as opposed to that of a whip-wielding vampire killer most prominently featured in the series. And like in any good game with a decent RPG system, certain weapons work better on certain enemies, so adapting to what you're going up against is a good idea. Until you find the Claim-Solized sword, which is so busted that it makes every other weapon useless, but let's ignore that fact for now, and instead I'd like to bring your attention over to this screen. This is Soma's stat screen. Now, why would I bring this up? I mean, everyone knows how character stats works in video game, right? Well, everyone knows how this works, except the developers of Aria of Sorrow apparently. As you can see, you have 4 attributes. Strength is your raw physical damage, Constitution is your natural defense, Intelligence is your magical power, and finally, your luck defines how likely you are to get souls. Except it doesn't. You see, in Aria of Sorrow, the luck stat has no effect whatsoever on item and soul drop chances. Apparently it's coded in such a way that it would take thousands of luck points to even begin increasing the drop chances. And to give you an idea, here's how many points I had at the end of my playthrough. This is pathetic. So I sure hope you like gambling, because if you want a specific soul, you'll have to grind for it for half an hour. Don't you look smart now with your useless +3 luck charm equipped, huh, you dumb fuck? Alright, at least the monsters are cool enough to make you forget that you're actively wasting your time. The devs went out of their way to create an all-around fun bestiary with demons, witches, worms, dryads, giant cocks, spider-womans, God knows I have very confusing feelings for these, the rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, dead Superman, fish, and even Reimu from Toho is here. I dare you to say to my face that this isn't Reimu. Unfortunately, there's still a small amount of recycling, which is especially painful with the bosses. If I don't count the final 2, there are 9 total, 4 of which will later become regular enemies. And the worst part is that when you see what the unique monsters look like, you feel like the team just got lazy at some point. just like me with my videos. Like, Death Fight is pretty much everything you expect out of a boss encounter in Castlevania. There's good music, it's challenging, satisfying to learn the patterns, although personally I hate it because each time I beat him, his size still somehow managed to... Are you kidding me?
So did you kill Death yet?
And I can't talk about the bosses without talking about the plot twist of this game, so... Yeah, spoilers I guess. During your exploration of the castle, you will stumble upon an amnesic man going by the name of Jay, who seems to be connected to the castle in some way. Well, after conquering the Colosseum, you meet him once again, this time with his memories returned. Turns out his name is Julius Belmont, the Belmont who destroyed Dracula in 1999. You'd think he'd help us kill Graham, since he's supposed to be the reincarnation of Dracula, but he says, and I quote, "Nah, he's too much of a pussy for him to be Dracula." So we ignore the old man and face again Graham alone. We beat him pretty easily, but something feels off. Soma, Mina, and Chip Alucard are transported outside, however, there's a gloomy atmosphere. We haven't really destroyed the castle, it's still there in the eclipse, and weirdly enough, it seems to be calling out to Soma. The screen fades to black, and congratulations, you just got the first ending of Aria of Sorrow. That's where those who have explored might have an easier time than those who didn't. There are 3 books scattered in the castle, and each of them contains a specific clue regarding a specific soul that you will need to acquire in order to unlock the true ending of Aria of Sorrow. Yeah, remember what I said about farming mobs being a pain? Well, have fun, sucker, cause now it's necessary. But if you go through the trouble of breaking and entering into these 2 rooms until you have what you want, and go back to Graham with those 3 souls equipped, when beating him, Soma's dark power will manifest, revealing that he alone is Dracula's true successor. It's a really cool twist to learn that you've been playing as Dracula all along, but then what? Well, much like any anime watcher, Soma is struggling to keep his sanity in check, so now we need to go destroy Chaos. No, not this one. But on our way there, we cross paths with Julius once again. Except this time, he's here to kill us. Because... he's super racist against vampires. And his fight is just epic. The background, the character, the fight itself, and the music. God damn! So, after we beat some sense into him, we get to the last boss, and from here on out, I don't have much to say. Except until this point, the game is a fine challenge, although maybe it's a bit on the easier side. But then this ugly bastard comes in, and I hope you went to Hammer to prepare a bunch of potions, because fuck! He's actually harder than Soma's bone. But we managed to defeat Chaos, still not this one, and at last, we see the true ending. We escape from the castle, reunite with Mina, and everyone is alive and well. Well, except Graham, cause he's dead. I can definitely understand why Aria of Sorrow is a lot of people's favorite Castlevania game. Even after 4 playthroughs, I still enjoy it, even if it is painful to grind the souls required for the ending every time. But it is the perfect example of what a great Castlevania looks like. There's also many small details that don't define if it's a good or a bad game in any way, but I appreciate their presence. Like, there is voice acting. I know that was already there before, hello Symphony of the Night. But like I said, for a Game Boy Advance title, I appreciate the attention. Even a few monsters have lines like those crazy maids. And some of your souls too, like Valkyrie, Curly, Devil, Legion, and also... Alright, just kidding. I wish it did, but this one doesn't have a line. Although, Soma's voice does sound a little familiar to me, so I took the liberty to go check his voice actor. Knowing we also had a ora 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 earlier, it would be funny if it was the same VA as Jotaro. Holy shit. Well, hello there, I hope you enjoyed this video. If that's the case, don't hesitate to subscribe, it's always appreciated. And you can always leave your comment down below to let me know what you think about this game. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go help Teto conquer the world.
Oh, you're back! Are you done with the God of Darkness?